the return of the pop-off. We're back, ladies, gentlemen, friends, family. We took a little bit of a hiatus, doing things, massaging things, figuring things out. Everybody is well and healthy and safe. A little bit of reconfiguring for the pod. We got a new network is coming at you. We got a whole bunch of things hitting you. But you know what? Let's just settle down, everybody. Just chill and welcome yourselves back to the pop-off, because we're doing it all over again. It is brand new, and I'm excited to be here. First and foremost, let's say what's up to everybody that you know, that you are familiar with. Man, we've all come back home. Shout out to my main man, Gene FitzMagic. What is happening, bro?
I'm only here so I don't get fined. But no, it's good to be back, man. We haven't been on together in a minute. So it's good to be back with my brothers, man, my pop-off brothers, and talk some sports, man.
There it is. You know what? The more things change, the more they stay the same. And I am talking about Mr. James Wudi's haircut. What is up, my guy? How are you, sir?
Hey, you already know, pop-off brothers and mis hermanos. You know, it's great to be back. You know, the sports world didn't stop. Even though we stopped, it didn't stop. So here I've been popping off on my couch. And I just got my daughter, she's like 18 months old, just looking at me like, okay, more milk now? Like, you know, and I'm just out here, no, did you just see that play? So now it is nice to finally have my brothers here to respond and react to the same things that I've been popping off to in the sports world.
There it is. Great intro. And you know what? Last but certainly not least, listen, we know sports doesn't stop. Neither does show business. Neither does this man's clock. When he wakes up, he is hitting the gym at 4 a.m. and he don't stop. I think he sleeps for 2 hours a week max. Caleeb, what's up, bro? You good?
Absolutely. I sleep way more than that.
Yeah.
I go to bed at 8 o'clock.
That's true.
Old man Caleeb.
Yeah. As I said it, I was like, oh, we all know this guy got some sleep. He got some rest. I love it.
Yes,
All right. Well, you're going to use all of that energy and we're going to channel that into the topics we are talking about today. First and foremost, I am Nigel Downer. I'm going to be the host, kind of running us all through this gambit of sports that has not slept. But also, shout out to everybody in the chat, on the YouTubes, in the Xverse, Twitterverse, whatever you want to call it, all the socials. Thank you so much for hanging tight and being there for us. The last time you saw us was a couple months ago. Gina and I were holding it down. It was a two-man show, and we got the numbers ran up to about 500, 600, 700 people with us on the pod. I hope you guys all come back and stay with us for this pod, and not only this one, but
so
future
that means
pods.
me and Wudi need to go.
Yeah, no.
We weren't saying that so much, but I'm just saying if you need to go.
That's what that means. They like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. So just grand opening, grand closing, everybody.
Bye. As you can see, the antics I've just stayed the exact same. So thank you everybody for coming into the chat. Jump over to YouTube. Makes it easier for us to see your comments, so we can chime in on those. If you have thoughts, feelings about your team or about just random teams that we have not discussed, bring it up, because we love to go off the script. Speaking of, let's jump right into it. Right now, we are in the thick of the NBA playoffs that have not disappointed. At one point, we were all loving the dynamics and the dichotomy of the football nation, but now we have moved over to the NBA because the playoffs have been wilder than we could have even imagined. Let's start here with the Boston Celtics. If you haven't watched the documentary, go watch it. It's actually pretty good. You learn some things. But also, they are down 2-0 to the New York Knickerbockers, and they beat them at home in Boston. And it is there's been, I'm shocked there hasn't been riots. I'm sure it's been close, but there hasn't been complete riots in Boston. So we want to talk about that right out the gate. First, let's talk about this. Who is to blame, if we're pointing fingers, for the Celtics being down 0-2? Let's start with Caleeb. Then we'll go Gene and Wudi, or everybody can just jump in. It doesn't matter to me, but we're going to start with my man Caleeb. Who do you think is to blame, if there's somebody to be blamed, for the Celtics being down 0-2?
I think it's a collective blame that goes around. I think the head coach, Mazzulla, I think this keep shooting mentality is ridiculous. 100 3-pointers shot in 2 games and missed 75 of them. They should be benched if they do not go take a layup. I've seen too many times they get a rebound, and instead of going back up and they're 3, 4, 5 feet from the basket, they pass it back out for somebody to take a 40-footer that they clank off the backboard. The only person that should be shooting them is White. Let him shoot, right? And I don't mean white boy. I'm talking about White.
I for sure thought you meant white boy. Okay, carry on.
He makes them. Tatum and Brown combined for over $630 million and are garbage when you need them, right? And now I'll take less off Brown and more on Tatum. I just saw a commercial with Jason Tatum wearing a Superman shirt. He going around saving people and all this stuff and can't make a shot. Then I saw this other one where they have a commercial where the time is going down and he shoots the 3 and it's nothing but net as it expires. In what world have you seen that? Nothing recent. I tell you that. That's the problem. Like, these people be getting blown up for not being any good. And I saw on sports on First Take, Stephen A was talking about how Steve Kerr, the disrespect to Tatum. Yeah, right. Steve Kerr is the champion. He's like, he ain't got it. Sit down. Ant-Man, you're up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. And so I think it's a collective effort. I think it's bad coaching, right? Because you can't hit those shots as consistent. So you build your whole game, live by the 3, die by the 3. I think Tatum is, and I love Tatum. Freshest haircut in the game. Fade always on point. Girls love him. They be screaming his name when he go out there. You know what I'm saying? He probably don't even wear no drawers when he out on the court. But I tell you this.
I'm not wearing any now.
He be wearing no drawers with leather pants, that type. But look, he's missing. He comes through. He doesn't come through when they need him. He had 3 missed wide open 3-pointers in the first game that could have changed everything. He missed them all. Then in game 2, he comes down, he drives, gets a dunk. Good, because I thought he was going to try to pull up for a 3. He gets a dunk. Then here's $330 million, baby, 330. It's your ball, down by 1. Game time. This man don't even get a shot off. Don't even get a shot off. And when he goes up for the shot, he get caught and then try to dish it out. And then looking like it's somebody else's fault. I tell you, that's the problem with these new age players. You know who I blame? LeBron. It's his fault for this weakness with all these young boys he inspired who think his ass is the GOAT and don't know nothing about clutch playing. That's who they look up to. You know what I'm saying?
Should be looking up to Kobe and Michael.
Come on now. If you want to win, you know what I'm saying? If you want to go to the championship 10 times and only come back away with 4 rings, be my guest.
Yeah.
If you want to be eliminated in the first round more than you're not, come on, bro. The Lakers ain't never looked this bad. Like as far as playoff concerns, a top 3 team, top 3 seed in the West. Gentlemen swept.
Anybody can chime in.
So it's the Celtics and their little thing, but LeBron overarching because that's who they look up to. They think he's the greatest.
Fair.
Well, I mean, I listen. I think it's easy to say Tatum not coming up big at the end. I think it's easy to say Missoula because of the timeout selections and calls and whatnot. I also think it's more of a collective group. I really do think it's the team itself is really. There's not a specific guy. I think the whole team has regressed as that game went on. Whether it's the game got a little tighter for them by the end, or they felt a little too comfortable by the end. They're also a team that, if you see, has their identity. What's their identity? Is basically being like this 3-point monster. And when you're living by the 3, you're gonna die by the 3 at times, right? And that's what's happening. So I don't really think I'd love to. You guys know how I feel about Tatum and his punk son, but I can't put the total blame on him. I think it's and I'm not a big Missoula fan. I don't put the whole blame on Missoula. Now I know a lot of fans are probably turning on Missoula. He hasn't been there long enough, but I really do feel like it's a collective issue as a team that they have a certain way of playing, and they've played that certain way all year. And they've come across a team now that says, hey, you beat us 4 times this season by doing ABC. So we're going to guard against ABC and see what happens. And they're guarding ABC. And the problem is, and I guess you could put this on Missoula to an extent, but they're not adapting. They're just not adapting to the changes that the Knicks have made. The Knicks adapted to the Celtics. The Celtics have yet to readapt to now what the Knicks have done. So when you see him go up for that shot, I think he didn't know what to do. He didn't know if he should shoot it, he should pass it. The game got too tight for him in that moment that he didn't even know what he wanted to do. Talking about Tatum, he just was like, and it was like he didn't know it. Now listen, Jordan takes that shot, or he passes it, but he also doesn't look like a flopping fish trying to do it. And I'll tell you what, Kobe takes that shot 100% of the time, knowing that, listen, I'm either going to make it or I'm going to lose it, but it's going to be on me. Tatum didn't want that on his back and on his shoulders. Kind of like what Caleeb said, it's this new generation of players that are soft. I had this conversation with a friend yesterday about which is the toughest generation of ball players. And I think by far it's the 80s, early 90s. And they're telling me, oh, well, they can't shoot like they shoot now.
That's true.
But in the 80s, they weren't able to shoot. They didn't shoot like they could shoot now because they weren't able to shoot. Like there was people in their face. Now you have the spacing is different. It's easier to create your shot and hit your shot. If they had spacing that in the 80s, some of those guys could have shot the ball just as well, maybe. We'll never know. But yeah, so it's to me, it's more of a collective unit, not adapting to how the Knicks have adapted to them going forward in the series.
Go ahead, Wudi. I'll just say this. I only know one thing, Gene. 330 million.
Oh, there should be no excuses. I agree. 100%.
Like,
no excuses.
And you don't know what to do? 330. I bet you know how to cash that check. I bet
he switches that one every time.
Yeah, every time.
Gene, I feel like you really outlined a Joe Mazzulla issue, though. Like, I feel like the team not adapting. Like, what
that is the joke. That's Joe Mazzulla.
What is he saying in the huddle? That was also a choice. That was also a Mazzulla choice. They had the one timeout, so it's like, Tatum has it. All right, we're gonna let Tatum freestyle, or do we call timeout and draw up an actual play? Now we saw in game one.
Can I ask you a question? Is that Mazzulla being too scared to take the ball out of Tatum's hands in that moment?
I personally think he just had faith in Tatum and was like, $330 million. He about to hit this shot. That's what I
just saw your commercial. Do what you did there.
But that was the wrong decision. But I don't want to say to his credit, because this was a more obvious timeout situation. In game one, he did call a timeout and draw up a play. And within seconds, the ball was in Mikal Bridges' hands, which, happened. So no timeout, Mikal has the ball. Call a timeout, Mikal has the ball. So I feel like if there's one, like if you can only, blame one person, to me, it's like, how is it not Mazzulla? Because they are shooting so many three. Like at a certain point, you just have to be like, yo, stop. Like, stop. If you shoot a three, you are sitting on the bench next to me. It's not even like the team. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, like that's how they play. That's their style. But like Jaylen Brown is one of the best slashers in the entire NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is quick. His bounce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a walking poster, right? Drew Holiday, his whole career, not one person was saying, oh, this dude's a three-point marksman. No, he's an elite perimeter defender, and on offense, he can actually run a play, right? He can actually run a play. He has handles. He has IQ. Tatum is a good slasher when he goes to the basket. Like, for them to just reduce themselves into all these Reggie Miller lights, like just all of them, just Reggie Miller lights, it don't make no sense. It really doesn't make sense.
It makes sense in the sense that it worked for him. It made sense in the sense that it worked for him throughout the season. So, like, I get it to an extent, but you need to now adapt it. If it's not working, now you need to. And again, you're right. That's on Mazzulla for saying, guys, we got to come up with something different. It's not working. We now need to adapt to the Knicks.
Yes. Yeah, I get it. It was working. Playoff basketball is different, right? That's something that should be expected every time. Like even for the struggles with the Magic, I was like, I know they ultimately won the games, but it's like, okay. But yeah, as for Tatum, one thing I will say about Tatum specifically is that, like, this dude, like, we gotta stop acting like he's this guy, like that he's top 10. We gotta stop. And it's the media's fault. It's the media's fault completely. I don't understand how the media can, try to act like Tatum is him, like he's on the level of Ant and all these guys when the numbers don't lie. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson, you look at Jalen Brunson's numbers, what he's doing hasn't been done. Some stats haven't been done ever. Other stats haven't been done since Michael, his airness. And we still treating Jalen Brunson like, maybe he's on the fringe of top 30 and Tatum is locked. These silly tears that the media has just, talked us into is crazy. I am free of the Kool-Aid that they're selling me on all that type of stuff. So when we blame Jason Tatum, I'm like, yeah, he has a contract, he has all this, but he's already proven he's not him. He does not have a finals MVP because he wasn't the MVP of that finals. I don't think Tatum is that guy. So I guess I'm not as upset with him as if I was a Celtics fan, I would be with the coaching for that team.
I think one of the main things that we've touched on here is definitely lack of adaptability. The Celtics just have not changed. They have not adapted. They, like Gene said, verbatim, you live by the three, you die by the three, and they don't change with that. And so if you can't make those, if you can't adapt, obviously the Knicks have just been nothing but like fundamental basketball and just like low posting or just like getting good shots within the arc. You get more of those on a more consistent basis than you do when you panic and you throw it outside the arc. To Caleb's point, we're just like 40-footer that's just going to clang, 9 times out of 10 almost. They're 7 times out of 10. Like, what kind of percentage is that, right? So it's been very interesting to watch. Now they're going to be back in New York, Madison Square Gardens, where it's going to be ruthless. Spike Lee was not at the Boston Gardens. He was not at TD Gardens because
he'll be there Saturday.
He will be there Saturday, yep. But he was representing the dandyism that was and all the blackness that was on Thursday night. So now we'll see what happens when the Boston Celtics go into New York. Now, if we've mentioned a lot of other players for the Celtics, so let me ask you this.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know he's a huge fan, and he pays a lot of money for his tickets. Spike Lee, stay home. I'll tell you why. I'm a big superstition guy. You weren't at games 1 and 2, and we won. Let's just ride that out. Let's not show up until we lose the game. Just please do me a favor.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I was like,
no, unfortunately,
Ben Stiller.
I almost feel like if you told him, listen, if you show up, Knicks will lose, he'd still show up, and that's the problem.
No, he wouldn't. Not if he knew for certain. I tell you this though, man, it's just it's crazy. Like to see what's actually happening and the non-adjustments and the idea that you put it on your superstar player and he don't come through, and it's like there's more excuses. You know what I mean? And I just and I think they're seeing how to do it. Brunson had a bad game in game 2 for his standards. He was bricking everywhere. But when they needed the 3, guess who hit it? Yeah. I hear what you're saying, Certified Rob, but I don't care. You're talking about the regular season. This is the playoffs. This is where you make this is why we pay you $330 million. I don't care what you did in the rec league. Oh man, I was MVP in the rec league, right? It's like, no, now it's time to play. See, Rob, you one of them fans that make him have commercials and stuff like that up there praising him for winning in the regular season. We're talking about when the game matters. You know what I'm saying?
And let's be fair. Last year, he did not win that series for the Celtics last year. That was a Jaylen Brown thing.
Oh, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown took that series over.
That is my point. But hey, listen, go ahead, Rob. LeBron the GOAT. Go ahead. You can bring it all you want. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you right now, it's Michael Jordan. And that's what the problem is. Brunson hit it when they needed it. We ain't talking about what Brunson did in regular season. When the game was on the line, Brunson hit that three. You know who else did? Mikal Bridges. Guess who did it? Jason Tatum. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And guess how much more money Jason Tatum makes than Jalen Brunson?
More than both of those names combined.
and the reason why is because Jalen Brunson, let's quote what you want, is more of a team guy because he took less money to build a better team around him. I'd take that guy for his heart and for his brains over Tatum any day.
That's what sports comes down to. When the competition is at its highest, it's about who wants it more. It's about the heart, the desire. That's my point. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? They're not just going to collapse and let you get your shot. In the regular season, they don't care. They're like, man, it's 82 games. We don't even need to win this to get a playoff seed. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the difference is. But, you know what I mean? But we'll see. Rob, I hope I see you next week because I want to see what you say after Saturday. Don't let your boy not come up. I'm never going to forget Certified Rob. It's on now. I'm telling you this. You better Rob. Your boy show up Saturday. I pray to God. Pray.
I don't know
your
if you
boy shows up.
We just came back. We just came back, and we already out here throwing hands.
Certified Rob is actually, I don't know if you guys know, Certified Rob has actually been on our show before as the young guy I brought on a couple times with Caleeb.
That's my man. Okay, cool.
And he actually is on the new network they're on. He's on the new show called Rookies.
Well, then good.
On Monday.
Good.
So you'll get to see him.
Good. Rob, you look better going than coming. You look better going to come.
We got some in-house love. I love it so much. Once again, that's a great time to remind everybody you're listening to the Pop Off Podcast. We're making it happen over here. We are doing exactly that. We are popping off on our thoughts and our ideas, and we are just going. Every take is likely a hot take here over the Pop Off. So please enjoy and jump in, chime in whenever you want. Oh, Certified Rob.
My God. Okay, Rob's trolling.
Yeah.
Rob's trolling. He's trolling. Okay. All right. You just trolling. I get it.
Certified Rob was born in like 2016. Get out of here. All right. Here we go. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. Now, we know that the Boston Celtics, like I said before, the Boston Celtics are down 2 games, and they're going to New York tomorrow afternoon to play Game 3, which is going to be huge. But we also have another team that is number 1 in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they are also down 2-0. However, I think this series is a little bit more, I don't know if intriguing is the word, because they both are intriguing in their own right, but there's something a little bit more interesting about this one. The Pacers have put up the numbers to beat the Cavs. The Cavs are missing a couple key players that have helped them to dominate and become the number 1 seed in the East. But regardless, it doesn't matter. They're now going back to Indianapolis, where the Pacers are going to try and win Game 3, which takes place tonight. Tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Let's talk about what is happening over there. Wudi, let's start with you. What's going on with Cleveland, or what's going on with the Pacers?
First off, I'm just gonna say, how dare you? What could be more intriguing, more interesting than New York taking over the basketball world, shocking the world, all right, defying all the biggest odds, and sweeping the Celtics at home, stealing home court advantage, and then some. I just wanted to say that. But for this series, let me you said the Cavs are missing key players. To me, a key player, that's one of those role players, right? For the Nuggets, I would say, key players like Christian Braun, maybe Russ coming off the bench, getting 10 or 15 and 5 and 5. Those are some key players. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are missing their second and third best player, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. Series before that the Pacers had, they faced the Bucks, right? Who's their second best player? Damian Lillard?
Yeah.
Damian Lillard. Okay. How many games did he play that series? He didn't really play that much, did he?
Maybe 2.
let's go back to last year with the Indiana Pacers. They also face the Bucks without Giannis, without Dame. They face the Knicks without Julius Randle. Okay. And then they finally face a healthy team. What happened? They got smacked out of the playoffs. Oh, okay. So now this year, we hyping up a team that consistently just beats up on teams missing. I'm not talking about they missing their 6 men. They missing the second best player on the team every time. And we're going to hype up Halliburton like he is, everyone. No.
Woody's point. What happened to Woody's point? What happened when Halliburton took his first step back into the Garden with a healthy Knicks team this year? Goose egg.
He was looking like
Stars don't put up 0 points.
That's what I'm talking about.
I get it. I get your point. But Halliburton, first of all, he's the only one holding it down for light-skinned brothers in the league right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all,
Josh Hart.
But no, Brunson. I got to give it. It's actually Brunson.
Yeah.
So let me back up.
Am I allowed to wait? Can I answer your question? Being I'm
no. The answer is no, Gene. Whatever you're gonna say, no. The answer is no. No. Given what we've been talking about just now, no, don't.
Okay, I can't decide. I can't dictate who's light and dark.
Oh no! No, you definitely can't do that.
No.
This dude said I thought I had a pass.
Oh no. So, but look, I get your point. Here's why I like Halliburton, right? He does the major league celebration when he hits the shot. He goes, I love it. But to your point, you're right. But that's not his fault. And then what I will say about Garland, I get it. It's your toe. I've stubbed my toe. I know how it hurts. Get a shot and get your ass out there on the court and play. You make too much money to be talking about your toe, not your knee, not your back, not something torn meniscus or no, man. I will be out there to help you, but my toe, you know how that go, right? Bo Jackson used to play with a thing called turf toe. So did Deion Sanders. That might be why he's missing 4 toes now. But the point is, he went out there and played. You got to play. You're making too much money. Donovan Mitchell, all props, because I've always been kind of down. I think I'll be like, he's a little overrated. He's got heart. Say what you want to say. He plays no matter what. When his team loses, it's never because of him. Like he's going to go out there and give you 40. He's going to do what he can to try to win. It's your team has to have that same gusto. You got to go out there and get it. Right? You can't tell me your toe hurts and that's why you're not playing. You see how many times Mitchell hit the floor? Like he going up for dunks. He plays like Dominique Wilkins, bow-legged, two-leg dunk and getting cut underneath and landing hard. And he takes a breath and gets up again and does it again and again. And you gonna tell me your toe hurt? You see what I'm saying? Why you looking cool though? Your braids is fly, chains on. Oh boy, woo! I can't wait till this toe get good. it's like, come on, man. Get a shot, get a cortisone, take the pain out, and play on it. Like
you want to miss a game because of a toe, miss it in December or January.
That's my point.
This is where you pay to get play through it. And I guess, listen, none of us are professional athletes. It's not for us to really say, oh, you got to play. But come on, man. Like you're telling me you have a thumb injury, a toe injury, and it's not a serious injury. It's not like you broke that toe. You're listed as game time decision. If you're a game time decision, if it's that close to where you might play or can play or in the playoffs, you play.
Right.
You're either out or you're playing. There's no game time decision in the playoffs. I'm sorry. There's just not.
My coach used to say all the time, are you hurt or are you injured?
Yep.
Because if you're hurt, you can play. If you're injured, I get it. That's what I'm saying. Are you hurt or are you injured? That's what I'm saying. And I get a toe could be debilitating. I get it. But you got to take the cortisone shot and you got to play because it's not your knee, your shoulders, or your back. Kobe used to play with broken fingers and tape them on his shooting hand.
And I'll give Mobley credit. His is at least an ankle.
Right.
I get that part of the pivot. I'll give him credit for that. It's at least an ankle. Still game time decision. but it's at least an ankle, which is it's tougher for me to understand.
Steph
Or it's
Curry
easier
got
for
a
me to
golf
understand.
ball on his thumb and playing against a dude that was smacking it. You know what I mean? Like on his shooting hand. You gotta do those things. You think it's you don't think it's not uncomfortable? You think
How long did it take for Curry to come out the other night? I think it was game 2 when his hamstring, or game 1. Sorry, game 1.
Yeah.
When his hamstring pulled, because he's still was trying to set screens and still trying to run around and still
Right.
shoot the ball, and it's like, and it was very noticeable, obviously, because he's grabbing it, he's clutching onto it, he's holding onto it, and it's just like, yo, and again, we're all saying the same thing, we all believe in it, but you know what, fellas? When you're getting paid that kind of money, or when you've made it to that, you are one series, not including this series, but you're one series away from going to the NBA Finals. You're one series away. If you win this one, cops are coming at me for my hot take. If you win this one, you are in the conference finals. You know what that means to not only like the one of the basketball mecca. You know what I mean? Like Indiana, like what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's a tell me. I stubbed my toe the other day. Guess what? I still went out and did my groceries. What? I still drove a manual car. I need both feet to do that.
You folded your laundry and everything?
Yeah, I fold a mean laundry. I fold a mean laundry. All right, I did retail for 20 years. I know what I'm doing.
I'm just saying.
Listen, we're gonna get back into it.
But Rob was
I can
putting
talk
up
about laundry all day.
I think he's putting up Tatum stats for stuff that don't matter. He
Mm.
talking about last year. Ain't nobody talking about no last season. Look at that. Look. We ignore it when he has a bad one. A bad one? He's had 2 in a row. 20-point leads and lost them. That's all I'm saying. Bruh.
He's the Tatum sexual.
I mean, oh my goodness. It's insane.
Yeah, Wudi.
But yeah, so the Pacers, they're probably going to win because I don't think that the Cavs are going to play enough people in time. But whoever they face next round will not be missing their top 2 players. So,
Yeah,
you better hope not.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's true. Damn,
No guarantee.
Listen, okay, so we've covered the we've covered the Knicks, Celtics, we've covered the Cleveland Pacers. But let's talk about this. Let's just throw those names out there real quick out of both of those series. Who are the X factors in these series that can really change the game? Again, for either team, that can either ratchet it up for the teams that are up 2-0, which would be the Pacers and the Knicks, or either bring their team like liven them up, bring them back from the dead, being the Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Is there an X factor? Is there a player from those squads that can do either or of those things? Wudi, you're nodding in agreement.
Yeah, I think for the Celtics, they need to whatever Theraflu they can give this man Porzingis. Porzingis to me is what makes that team a super team, because with him now that's somebody who can create their own shot. Derek White, for all the talent that he has, his buckets are almost solely catch and shoot, offensive rebound. He's not creating his own shot the way that Porzingis. You get him the ball on the block, on the elbow, even top of the key, and he is finding himself a good shot. That's what they've missed when they out here shooting all these threes. Just somebody to just settle down and score a bucket. And the Knicks, without Porzingis, the Knicks have been doing that with Cat. They've literally, when Brunson's not in there, they give Cat the ball on the block, and we saw it game 2, like 3 straight and ones on Al Horford, made him looking like, I don't even know. You can call me out. Like, it was just boom, just 1, 2, 3, just consecutive and ones. So Porzingis, if they can get this man on the floor, another thing he does is properly stretch the floor. What I mean by that is that, yeah, they put Al Horford in the corner, but that's Al Horford. Has he made 1 3 this whole series? Cat is 10 feet off of him, and he's getting all the boards. With Porzingis, you cannot be 10 feet off of him. So when they do miss their threes, they usually get a lot of offensive rebounds because of Derek White, because of Drew Holiday crashing the boards, and there's no one down there to really compete with that. So that's what Porzingis does. They've missed him big time during this series. But if he's continuing to be out, then the X factor in that series is the person I just said, Karl Anthony Towns. He needs to beat up that old man. Just beat him up in the paint. When they switch the smaller guys on him, he's done this multiple times now. Just catch, turn around, fade. He goes in every time over Jaylen Brown, over Jason Tatum, everybody in that series. So it's really the 7-footers. If the Celtics can get theirs out, they might have a chance to actually, make Rob correct with the Celtics and 7 nonsense. But if their 7-footers out, that's up to our 7-footer to bring out that broom, baby, because that's also an opportunity to get that sweep in the real Garden, MSG.
Wudi, Gene.
Yeah. See, all right. So it's the X factor to get Boston back in the series can't be Tatum, can't be Brown, because those are the guys that you just need in general, right? You expect them to be there. I expect Porzingis to be a guy that to me isn't an X factor. The one that I consider the X factor is Derek White. Defensively, he and offensively. I think he's shooting. I just had it. I don't have it anymore, but I had it. It wasn't that good. Anyway, but yeah, it's got to be Derek White, man. Abby's in the house. Look, Woody.
Yo.
Oh.
Abby, go check her out on Wednesday nights. Right here. So no, it's got to be Derek White because we are expecting Tatum, we're expecting Brown, we expect Porzingis to be the guys that can hold it down. The one that I think they need that's really got to step up is Derek White. The guy made the USA basketball team for a reason. That's who they need to step up. And I think the X factor needs to also be Mazzulla because I think last year they had an easy path to the finals. Because they got to play a Pacer team that maybe didn't belong in the conference finals last year. So I don't feel like Mazzulla's ever really gotten to prove himself as a championship coach just yet. He needs to be the X factor as well, him and White. And I think we need to see Mazzulla make better adjustments as the games go on. Because as we said earlier, he hasn't made any adjustments to this Knicks team that has made adjustments to the Celtics. So I think him being the X factor in the sense of making the right adjustments, which he has not done yet. It's good to be a bully, and it's easy to be a bully when you play from in front every time, right? But now that you're getting punched in the mouth, you're playing. He's not even playing. He's still playing in front. He can't hold a lead. You know what I'm saying? So because he's not making the adjustments when the Knicks go on those runs, they've done 2 games in a row, historic runs, and he doesn't know how to stop the hemorrhaging, right? So it's got to be White. That's got to be the X factor, and it's got to be Coach Mazzulla. That's got to figure out how to take these, how to stop this Knick surge late in games.
Caleb.
You know what's interesting, because I agree with Wudi that it's Porzingis, but I don't know what's going on, like what kind of illness that he's actually dealing with, because they're like it's undiagnosed. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? As Cat Williams said, a mysterious illness. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of them. We have no idea what he's dealing with, but it would be him. I get the Derek White, and I think it's him as well, but it could be a little bit on my man Pritchard. I like him, right? He's spunky. If he can catch fire, what happens is the Celtics are streaky. When somebody else gets hot, they all get hot. You know what I mean? And that's when it's bad. So he could definitely do it. And also, with the Knicks, I think it's Cat, because we haven't seen a 30, 40-point game from him yet. Like, he hasn't come alive for them. He's really supposed to be the strong number 2 to Brunson, but he hasn't really been. I think the last game he had like 14 points or something. Like, it might be more. I could be wrong, but it's not a lot. Like, he ain't have 30. He ain't have 25. You know what I mean? And
he might not have had 20. I don't think he's had 20.
Right. And I think that is what's missing. And if he can do that in Madison Square Garden, Josh Hart will play harder. You'll get it from OG, your boy Mikal Bridges. Like it becomes exponential. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Cat have one of those games for the Knicks fans in the playoffs. You know what I mean? I think it will go a lot, go really, really far. Because I don't think Pritchard. I don't think Porzingis is healthy enough. Like he said, he felt exhausted, right? And that's bad, because these Knicks ain't playing. They're gonna be running you up and down that court. So I don't think he's gonna be able to do it. So it'll be on White and Pritchard.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to have to go, I think, the Celtics way, or go the Cavaliers way to really, overcome this deficit. So going down to is a big deal because you got to, first of all, you got to get the mojo to get that one in there, and the other teams just need one more to really start to bury you, and so you got to get not only the one to get back in the competition, 2 to tie it, and then you got to go 3. So you have to go 3 and out, almost 3 and out, just to make this thing, just to make your chances good for you. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention the other series in the Western Conference, shockingly enough, but they've been fantastic as well. Right now, we got the Oklahoma Thunder. Now they have tied the series against the Nuggets because the Nuggets game 1 came out hot. They came out hot and they buried the Thunder, but then likewise, Thunder did the same thing right back to them. So series is tied 1-1, and their game 3 happens tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have the Timberwolves against the Warriors, which has also been very interesting because now you have the Steph Curry, the man, the myth, the legend. He is going to be gone. They say they're going to reevaluate his hamstring in a week. It's a hamstring, y'all. It can take longer than a week. Take longer than a week, especially at his age, 37.
Especially the way he plays.
Especially the way he plays, runs constantly, going to take longer than a week. So listen, thoughts and prayers with my man. I hope he gets better soon, and I hope that the Warriors can last as long as they can without him to make this series enjoyable to watch. Not a fan of Timberwolves. That's just me, but it doesn't matter. That series is tied at 1-1, and they got May 10, so that's Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That is enough of basketball for today. Right now, we are jumping right back into the section that you all know and love, which is Nigel's Cap Corner. Right before we jump into the NFL, man, I got a whole slew of hats to show you. Once again, I've never worn the same hat on this pod. Been doing this pod for 3 years now. It's been a long time, but we're not a hockey pod, but I also got to represent the Hockey Nation out here in Toronto. For all those that know or don't know, I'm up here in Canada. I'm the soul man from the north here representing. Boom. And we got the mascot hat right here, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Shout out to Carlton. All right. You got that new arrow, white on the blue. Boom. There you got the old school, which is now the Maple Leaf crest that we're currently using, and the NHL shield in blue with the gray UV, the black and black guts with the white band. One of my faves. I say that every time because I only wear faves on this show. So shout out to my Leafs. They're going to play the Panthers. Your Panthers, Gene, tonight.
Not my Panthers. I'm a Ranger fan, but I like this Maple Leaf hat a lot better than another Maple Leaf hat you wore on that show. One time.
Yeah. I'll wear. Nah, I can't wear that one again. But don't worry, I got some other Leafs hats I'll wear for you. All right, great. You're welcome. And now let's jump into the NFL. A couple bits of NFL news. Not only was that draft wild, we don't have to get back into it because I think we've all understood the assignment and we knew what shenanigans happened with Shedeur Sanders, or we don't know what shenanigans happened with Shedeur Sanders for him to get drafted in the 5th round. It was a whole cluster F word, but now he has been drafted. Finally, he was drafted to the Cleveland Browns, whose roster of QBs is like a little army that could. They have Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, another rookie for Oregon. Shout out to the Ducks, and Shedeur Sanders of the mighty Buffaloes of Colorado. Now, how is this going to work out? Who's going to be the odd man out? Who is going to start? Who is going to finish in Cleveland? They got a huge roster. That AFC North team is stacked, which is the complete opposite of my AFC North team. Shout out to Pittsburgh Steelers, who are quarterbackless right now. Let's go to Gene. Yeah, let's go to Gene. What do you think, man? What's the QB in Cleveland situation going to look like? Who's going to start? Who's not?
All right, so who do they got there? They got Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Sanders, right? Obviously Gabriel and Sanders, they're sticking around. You spend a 3rd rounder on Gabriel. You got Sanders in the 5th round, which whether he's going to be a star or not, who knows? But he's definitely, I think, value-wise, they got him in the 5th round. You're holding on to that, right? Pickett, 26 years old, has got a huge, a long time in front of him. It's got to be Joe Flacco as the odd man out. I think he's going to be there in camp just to kind of see what they got with the other guys. But I think if the other guys are at least what they expect, I think Flacco's the odd man out. He didn't cost him a draft pick. He just cost him a couple of bucks. I'm not even sure if it's even a guaranteed deal. It's a 1-year deal. So even if it is guaranteed, it's only 1 year. He's what, 40 years old? He's 40. So yeah, it's going to be Flacco. I think Flacco was just there because they didn't know what they were doing going into the draft number one, right? Like they didn't know who they were going to end up with, and also I think they just have him in the locker room in the beginning part of preseason with get these guys up to speed. But it's going to be Kenny Pickett starting the season with the other two kids behind him, and Flacco definitely. I think the only way they keep all four is if they're going to practice squad Sanders, thinking like, hey, nobody wanted to draft him in the first place. Maybe we can get him on the practice squad without somebody picking him up, and stash him there for a little bit. And that's the only way I think they keep all four quarterbacks. But if they're making a cut, it's Joe Flacco.
Wudi.
No matter what they do, they've made a mistake. They have
agreed.
Right, because Deshaun is also getting his guaranteed, as Charles Barkley would say, guaranteed money. So literally 5 QBs on the roster. I think, my personal opinion, I think Kenny Pickett is the one that is the odd one out. For rookies, like it would really make no sense. Like unless if they really, trying to, because I know they've spent so much energy trying to attack Shador's character. If he really comes in there and is, causing issue, I guess they could cut him, right? Just be like, this isn't worth the long haul. But I would be shocked to see them draft a QB and cut that same QB within the same 4-month period. So I feel like Gabriel, to Dean's point, right? Gabriel and Shador are locks. But Kenny, I don't think Kenny can start NFL games. Like Joe Flacco was just starting NFL games in Indianapolis and doing work. The last time the Browns made the playoffs, who was their starting QB? Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, as much flack as I give him, he has actually continued to play at a decent level for our expectations of Joe Flacco for years now. And like I said, he was their last successful quarterback. Now he's back. If you want your young QBs to pick up any tidbits or, pick the minds, do you want them picking the minds of Kenny Pickett? Or do you want them picking the minds of a former Super Bowl winning QB who still got some juice in Joe Flacco? I think it's Joe leading the kiddos this season into the the regular season, and then if one of those kids can beat him out, they beat him out. But I think Joe is arguably the most important presence in that room for the young guys.
Kenny Pickett can win games though.
Hold on. Yeah.
He's got a winning record as a quarterback.
I mean, okay, TJ Watt. How many of those does he owe to TJ Watt? What are you talking about?
All of them.
Maybe some of them.
Let's go to Caleb on this. I can tell you right now, I'm leaning one way and not the other. Here's a hint. I'm leaning towards Wudi. Okay, Caleb, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Wudi too. I think it's going to be Flacco that's going to start. I think that's obvious because the Browns just want to just be neutral. They just want to go out and just after that season last year and all of that. It's like they just want to go out. Who they really want to be their quarterback is Shador. Yep. What they wanted to do was humble him and all this. The biggest chain I've ever seen since Slick Rick, this dude had on. Like, it's ridiculous. So they're like, we want to bring that down a little, but they need that, right? They need that. So he's going to learn under Flacco. Tom Brady is his mentor. Tom is saying, you shut up and you listen to Joe. Tom calls Joe, says, listen, he's a little, but you got to help him. That's, oh, I already think so. I think that's the plan. They just want to humble him. They don't want him coming in with they've seen his daddy. They know where he come from. They like, we don't want that. We don't want that. And thank God he's not as talented as his father was. Like Shador is good, but he's not super fast. He's not crazy athletic like his dad. So he can't like really cut up like he want to. But y'all seen him. He was in the 5th round doing and all this, like, brother, he was at a party. He was at a party with Young Miami and all this. He's like, yeah, you would have think he went in the first round.
Yeah, it didn't matter what round he would have went at. He was going to do the exact same thing.
I have a question about that.
But but real quick, I do like him. But I think Flacco is going to be training him. If Dylan Gabriel can show them something, trust me, they will take that. Believe it. But I think that's what it is. But to Wudi's point, it's Flacco that's starting this season. He's going to get hurt because he's 40. He's in the NFL. Something's going to happen. Not nothing detrimental. It's just you get sacked and it's like, damn. You know what I mean? And they got to bring in one of the young boys. So that's what I think it's going to be. But Flacco is there to teach them, and it's going to be between Shador and Dylan to see who becomes the new starting QB. Because the Browns are already stacked.
Yeah, Gene, you got to follow up.
Well, yeah, my question is this: when we see him celebrate after getting drafted in the 5th round, are we seeing a guy that doesn't have the fire? Like, should he have been pissed, or was he trying to be humble by saying, "I'm just glad I'm drafted. That's what all that matters is you get drafted." What was it? Because there's a lot of people that attack him for not having that fire, saying, "I'm gonna make everybody else pay," and there's a lot of other people that don't want to see him party. Like, but my thing is, I felt like he's trying to say, you know what? I'm above all that stuff. I'm not going to let any of that stuff get to me. I don't want people to think I'm going to be sullen and cross. Now, you get picked in the 2nd and 3rd round. I can see what you say. You know what? I'm going to tell you. Then you could be like, I'm going to let everybody know that they missed out on me. But when you get picked in the 5th, I think, and a lot of it was because people didn't like his party first attitude, like, or he was going to have a tough dad to deal with. I think he wanted to sit there and be like, listen, I'm happy to be in the NFL. Forget about where I get picked. I'm happy to be in the NFL. I kind of took that. So I didn't really blame him as much for the whole party aspect of it. Like, you made it to the NFL, kid. You should celebrate.
No, I agree with you. And I think part of it is he wants to show people that no matter what, you can't stop me from being who I am. So if I go out there and throw 5 interceptions, I'm still going to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just who he is, and I think he needed to do that. But trust me, he felt it. He thought he was going top 3. Did you see they had the NFL Network had a couch with the mics and them just waiting for Dion and him to watch when he goes. And it stayed empty the whole first round because he was not getting drafted. He had it. Gilly and them was there. Like everybody was there to celebrate, and it didn't happen.
It almost felt like collusion at one point.
Oh, no. It's definitely it's to teach his dad a lesson, right? And here's was one of the things I didn't like. I was arguing with people online. It was probably certified rock, but the thing was they were trying to say oh, that's what Dion gets for trying to dictate where his son goes, this arrogance, who they think they are. But nobody remembers that Archie Manning did the same thing with Eli.
Well, that's maybe part of the problem.
And then somebody had the nerve to tell me, oh, no, the Mannings are NFL royalty. I said, what? Deion Sanders is better than Archie ever was, Eli ever was. Yeah. You could argue Peyton at his prime as a quarterback. You could argue just in the positions, right? But Tom Brady was considered better than Peyton overall, even though Peyton was considered the better quarterback in the regular season. But there was never a time when Deion Sanders was a cornerback that he wasn't the best. I don't care if it was Rod Woodson. I don't care if it was Champ Bailey. I don't care who what's my boy that was in the Raiders. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, he wasn't even there yet. Well, he was a rookie. But Deion in his prime in the 90s, it was shut down. And I was talking about homeboy that just went to the what's his name? Oh my God, he played for the Raiders and then he went to Green Bay. You know what I'm talking about.
Woodson, isn't that Woodson?
Yeah, you said Woodson already.
Yeah, but I was talking about Rob.
He's talking about Charles Woodson.
It is
Charles Woodson.
Yeah. Charles Woodson. That's what it was. But the point is, Deion was always the best at his position, even though people hated him, right? Because of his arrogance. So I do think there was a thing that they wanted to humble the dad, because they like, what you're not gonna do is come up in here and then start having your son talk about what we ain't doing.
Was this a LeVar Ball?
Well, see, the difference with LeVar is he was never as good as Deion Sanders. Like, this is Deion Sanders.
Yeah,
Ball
that's
played tight end for the Jets.
Deion's way better than Art. Like that. Yeah, everything Caleb just said.
Oh my God! Like royalty? What are you talking about? It would be like Bo Jackson. Like, you're not going to say nothing against Bo Jackson. Without that injury against the Bengals, he's the greatest running back to ever play. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care. I love Saquon. Better. Walter Payton. Better. Barry Sanders. Better. I don't care. I know it sounds crazy. Emmitt Smith.
He's pretty good.
Bo Jackson. And the greatest Tecmo Bowl character ever.
Oh, yeah. Don't even get me started. Don't even.
Barry Sanders was pretty good, too.
Talk about that.
Huh?
Barry Sanders was pretty good, too.
No. Barry was amazing, but Bo Jackson was something different.
I agree. But to me, Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders was the best running back I've ever seen in my life.
No. Absolutely. I'll give you that. Bo got injured, so you never got to see what he would have done.
I got to see him, but
we'll have to see the whole story.
Whole package.
Gene, come on.
I know.
Gene,
that's your second warning, dude. That is your second warning. Man, I swear to God, like if we make it through this pod, you don't get that third, like that is your, I'm gonna throw you out.
Bo Jackson, because I gotta go. But Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders are the two greatest athletes I've ever seen in my entire life. Even on YouTube, watching old videos, it don't matter. You Carl Lewis, you can put whoever you want. Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. And if either one you pick, I'm not going to argue with you. You can say Bo over Deion or Deion over Bo. It don't matter.
But
nobody.
But who was the better singer? Was it Carl Lewis or was it Deion Sanders?
Oh, man. Everybody knows it's Carl. I got to dip. But it was good being back with everybody. Hey, and certified.
just a finger right down the lens. Caleeb, thank you so much for being here with us today, man. We'll see you next week. Have a fantastic day. Hey, we're gonna carry on here. We don't got much left, but we're gonna carry on a little bit. And also, just to make sure everybody's reminded, don't forget to hit that like, smash that subscribe, and tell a friend. Share is good. Share is a good thing. Share somebody. Share this with somebody. You are watching or listening to the Pop Off. We are back for a little couple months hiatus. We are back to do the thing every Friday at noon 15 Eastern time. So make sure you stick around and tell people, and join the chat too. Join the chat, because shout out to Certified Rob. If he wasn't here, I don't know if Caleeb would be that fired up. Caleeb always starts at a 12 out of 10, but then you really helped him get to like a 17 out of 10. So thank you for that, Certified Rob, and shout out to everybody else who's here with us in the chat. Let's talk about another couple topics in the NFL. We're gonna walk away, which I would like to talk about is the Jadeveon Clowney, the only who has played for 6 teams in 7 seasons. Shockingly enough, my man has moved around a bit. He's been with the Seahawks, the Titans, the Browns, Ravens, Houston Texans, and lately the Cleveland Browns, and lately the Carolina Panthers, who has just been released because the Panthers, they picked up 2 rookies at tight end, so they just a rush end, so they just left Clowney just for dead. So who's going to pick him up? Where's the best landing spot for Clowney? Let's go Wudi and then Gene.
I don't like giving talented players, or like in my head, right? Because obviously, I'm not making the actual decision, but I hate saying, "Oh, he should go to this AFC East team and beat up on my terrible Jets." But that's exactly what I'm about to do, because I do think that's the best fit for him. Jadeveon Clowney, one of the more unfortunate careers we've seen, because he's an immensely talented player who, didn't get the media support of an immensely talented player. And the reason why he has bounced on so many teams seemingly every year is because he keeps signing these 1-year deals, hoping to finally get that bag that now is very much commonplace. Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, these people, breaking the bank, highest paid non-QB. Jadeveon Clowney never had the sack numbers of these types of guys. But his impact on the game, what he's able to do in the run game from that position is top notch. So he's been chasing the bag. Last year was his first time not changing the bag. He actually just went home. He went home to Carolina. I believe he was staying either with or very close to his grandma's house, while he was a Carolina Panther. but like you said, Nigel, they dumped him. So what is he going to chase right now? Can he still chase the bag? Because now he's older than he's ever been, right? So now people are going to talk about, is he still even Jadeveon Clowney? He can't go back home because they just told him to pack his bags. So what's the other thing left? Let's chase some rings, baby. Let's chase some rings. So if that's the situation, I look at a team like a Buffalo Bills who drafted not one but two defensive tackles. They are trying to rebuild their defensive line, and what better than to add an old dog on that line, playing the edge next to these young guys to, finally get over that hump. That's all they're trying to do is get over that hump. Josh Allen has proved that he can win games with us three as a receiving core. So what they really need to do is work on that other side so that Josh doesn't have to put up 30 in order to win in the playoffs. So I think that is the best win-win situation for him, Clowney to the Bills.
I like that. That's not where I would send him, but I like that. Probably because I'm a Jet fan. I don't like it.
Yes.
I think a good spot for him would be Detroit.
Oh,
you get to play. You get to play alongside Hutchinson, who is coming back from an injury. You have other guys there that are injury prone with Davenport and Smith. The style that they play, as long as they keep the same style, and I assume that they will keep generally the same style as they had when our new coach Wudi was the DC over there. They play a 4-3, which I think would complement him. The Lions, for as good as they are, still have a ton of cap space, so they can afford to give him $7-8 million, right? Even overpay a tiny bit because I think you have almost $30 million in cap space. Clowney is not one of these, high maintenance, players. He'll be fine playing a rotational piece along with these other ends. So I really do think that he would fit perfectly there. As good as that team was last year, they were ranked, I think, 15th or so in sacks. He will give that another little push up, maybe even help him knock into the top 10. Because listen, we do know this: Jadeveon Clowney still has something to take. He's not what he was 3 or 4 years ago, but he still has enough to get enough in the tank to make some things happen. Especially when you surround him with other quality and like a Hutchinson that's going to play off him. You can't double team them both, right? Like you can't do that. So it's going to open up a nice lane for him to be able to get in there. I also say this, and I don't think this will happen. I think the Lions can happen. I do think the Bills can happen. You're right. You're right about the chasing rings part at this point. If he wasn't chasing rings, though, the Jets might even have been a decent fit for him. Put him on that line where they like to rotate. Well, they did like to rotate with our old coach, but you could put him in a rotation on the Jets as well. You have a young star coming back from an Achilles injury. Was it Achilles? Was it ACL?
Yeah, tore Achilles.
I always get them mixed up. Achilles and ACL. You have a young star coming back from that. You have a rising star in McDonald the fourth. So does he have a little bit of a second season of? I mean, no, it's not a sophomore year, but it's a sophomore year technically. It's technically not a sophomore season. It's a sophomore season as far as getting real actual playing time. Yeah. So does he regress a little bit now? The team's maybe figured it out. He'd be a nice guy to kind of throw in that mix with two young players that he could rotate off of. But again, if you're right, as far as at this point, what does he have left to do other than go and get that ring? And that's why I feel like the Lions might be the perfect fit for him.
Both good answers. I mean, I like the Lions edition. I mean, we haven't heard squeak. Like, we haven't heard diddly squat from the Lions at all. Like, we have no. I forgot they were even franchised for a second. So that's a good call on that one.
They got my guy DJ Reed, right? That's where he ended up going. So they've just been quiet. They've been quiet because their roster. They came into this with one of the best rosters in football.
Yeah,
they lost coaching,
especially on offense.
Yeah,
say again.
Especially on offense.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, offense is not. Yeah, I mean, I think they do the best offense. So,
and I think we're going to find out that the coordinator wasn't as important to that team offensively. I think it's the stars. I have a feeling Ben Johnson's a little overrated as a coach.
Oh, I mean, I've been shouting that to the high heaven. I've lost breath shouting that. So I think you guys have heard that maybe once or twice or 55 times. So
Yeah,
we gonna
I'll go 55 plus. Speaking of the number game, we are going to jump right to the MLB because there's a couple players, or at least one player, who is absolutely dominating the game right now, swinging the wood, and it is crazy. So we are going to talk about their teams first, then we're going to talk about players. I'm going to give you a little bit of preemptive. We're talking to the New York Yankees. They are at 21-16 for the season so far. They are doing damage like they've never done before. And we're also talking about the New York Mets, who are 24-14, who have not lost a step from last season. But specifically, we are talking about those players that are leading those teams. Now, would you rather, for the next 3 years, have Aaron Judge, who has a batting average of 400 right now, or Juan Soto, who's doing okay?
I mean, this is such a Gene question. You know, he just wanted an opportunity to just be upset about Soto because, hey, my cousin's a Yankees fan, and he always bringing up Juan Soto as if the Mets are not just balling. Like, they balling right now. The Mets, best record in baseball. They were the first team to reach 20 wins. They have been balling. And honestly, it hasn't been on the back of Juan Soto. I would say if we're talking about hitting, Francisco Lindor, bro, let me tell you something. I've bet money on every single Yankees and Mets game that has occurred this year. That's how I've been following baseball, is by betting on the two New York teams. One of the safest bets I can make, obviously, is Aaron Judge hit. But one of the safest Mets-related bets I can make is Lindor and Pete Alonso combining for 2 hits. Because if either one doesn't get a hit, I know that other one is getting 2 hits. Those are the 2 guys that are driving the runs in. They got a couple of guys later in the lineup, like Vientos and Nemo that are also doing some work. Juan Soto, I'm not gonna lie. From the batting perspective, he shows up like once, twice, maybe in a week. But when he shows up, he hit 2 home runs at a time. So is there even a competition between these 2 players? No, it's not even close. What Aaron Judge is about to do is historic. Like, we talking like GOAT type levels, whereas Soto is not even the best player on his own team. Whether we talking fielding, whether we're talking at bat, he's literally not. He's not in the top 2 on his team in either of those situations. So, yes, clearly Aaron Judge. But like I said, Gene, he has wanted his chance to, shit on Soto because Soto didn't take a deal with the Yankees. So here you go. Here you go, Gene. I even have some toilet paper if you need. Take your shit on Soto.
I know you like to
Gene,
think
make
I
it
was
quick,
going
man.
to. I know you think I was. I love to think I was. That's what I was doing. I actually do believe if over the next 3 years, I'd rather have Juan Soto. Listen, and I'll tell you right now, and this could be a whole nother topic in itself, but right now, the best baseball player in the world is Aaron Judge. I don't want to hear Soto. I don't want to hear Ohtani.
You can't hear any of those names because it's Judge.
Yeah, and they're great players, but it's Aaron. He's the best baseball player on the planet right now. We're living through an historic time. How often do you get to say, I lived through, we didn't get to live through the Babe Ruth or the Lou Gehrig's, but we're going to live through the Aaron Judge era right now. And we probably, by the end of his career, will be able to put those up against those, right? He's going to be a top 3 Yankee all time. But over the next 3 years, I would probably say Juan Soto by a year and a half. Now, I wish I would have had Juan Soto, because there's going to come a time where Juan Soto isn't going to have the injuries that Judge is going to have. Judge will break down at times between now and then. We've been blessed with him not really being injured. There's an injury coming somewhere along the lines. There's an injury coming because that's what he spent the reason why he's older in his career right now and why he got such a late start was because he had an injury-plagued minor league career until he finally was able to get to the pros. And even early in the pros, he had an injury-plagued pro record until his contract year, where he basically became immortal. So today, if we were saying for today, yeah, it would be Aaron Judge. If we're talking about over the next 3 seasons, I'm going to say Juan Soto. especially if Juan Soto becomes a quality defender, because I think there's going to come a time in the next couple of years where Judge is going to become your DH anyway. Again, not because he's not good enough, just because the body breaks down. You know what I'm saying? And he'll be 35 in 3 years. He's going to be he's got a big body. Those big bodies get hurt a lot easier than the smaller frames. So it's not for the lack of his own talent. It's just, if you take all those things into consideration, Juan Soto, I think, is who I'd rather have, as a whole 3 years instead of just a year. So I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna say Juan Soto.
I am surprised.
Just the meekest. I am surprised. Yeah, I'm sitting over here shocked too. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is not how I want to end the show. That's for sure.
I'd love to give you some craziness, like Sam Darnold's comeback player of the year, but I don't have that today.
Yeah, you made it weird. Don't make it weird,
who called Sam Darnold years ago?
Okay, you know what? We're gonna move right along and keep this thing moving, keep it trucking. You know what? We're going to jump to the very last topic of the day because we all got things to do, which is watching more sports and consuming all the fantastic playoffs that is. I want to jump into boxing. This is something we don't really talk about as much, but there is a certain somebody named Manny Pacquiao who is thinking about, or who's going to announce shortly, that he's going to come out of retirement for a championship fight. Wow. Okay. What do we think? Is this a good idea? Bad idea? Should he hang the gloves up indefinitely? Gene.
Dude, he hasn't boxed in what, is it 3-4 years now at this point?
4 years.
And I'm sure he's in good shape. I think he's 47, 48. I'm 46. Sure for 46. I'm sure for a 46-year-old, he's in fantastic shape. But even 46-year-olds in fantastic shape that box, you're going to lose a step. It feels like a money grab, because why else do you at 46 say, hey, you know what? I haven't boxed in 4 years. Let me go back into boxing. Please, I want to remember him. I want to remember the young Manny Pacquiao, who I adored watching. To me, he was one of the last boxers that I really enjoyed really watching, because I feel like boxing took a little bit of a dive the last few years, no pun intended. But seeing him come back to fight Mayweather in those fights where he wasn't the same boxer he would have, that was not the fight we should have gotten. The Pacquiao-Mayweather fight should have taken place like 5 years or more before it actually took place. I just want to remember that boxer. I don't want to remember the boxer that had for his last couple of years, or to come back now at 46. Manny Pacquiao, pound for pound, was one of the best boxers I've ever seen in his prime. But we are so far out of his prime that it's not even watching the same person. And I really do hope that well, it's too late. It's already pretty much a done deal. It's already been announced. But I just wish it was a joke, an April Fool's prank, even in May. I don't want to see him box again. As much as I'd love to reminisce and see him box again, I don't want to see this version of Manny Pacquiao box again.
Yeah, tough one. Wudi.
You say this version. I can assure you that the actual 2025 version is worse than the last version.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. Yeah. He's been washed. Even Gene said, right? Like the Mayweather, right? You could say he lost a step then. I would agree, right? He wasn't, prime Pacquiao then. That fight was about 10 years ago. What are we talking about? What?
With that, Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather was 10 years ago?
It was just about. Let's do a quick search to ye old goggle over here.
I thought it was I thought it was 5 years ago. I thought it was just before COVID. As
a matter of fact, wow. Let's take a shot. We are exactly a week after the 10-year anniversary, May 2nd.
Wow, I didn't think it was that long ago.
May 2nd, so we are literally
even more recent.
Yeah, so that was 10 years ago. He had already lost a step. He, has been gone. Now, sometimes breaks, help recharge the body. So that's one, I don't hold anything against him for that. In UFC, we've seen, George St. Pierre, who, was the pound for pound GOAT in that sport, can't come back after a few years and reclaim the belt. George Foreman, if we're sticking to boxing, right, did it as an old man. But the issue with both of those guys is that both of those guys, we was like, damn, they kind of retired too soon, right? Both of them, we were left wanting more. When Pacquiao retired, we had been begging him for years to stop. And now somehow he's coming back. So, I have no interest in watching that fight. I'll probably, catch the knockout on social media because that's usually, what goes viral when he, hits the canvas. It's a shame that some people, can't let it go. Like, and we talk about Floyd. Floyd still does exhibitions. He has a lot of fun. He trains his grandson, which is crazy to say that he has a grandson out here. Yeah. Floyd, in my opinion, is doing everything the right way. He never really got out. Like, he retired from professional, but still doing his amateur stuff. They wear helmets and stuff. Like, he just has a love of the game. Pacquiao, to Gene's point, 100% agree. Money grab.
It's wild to live in an era now where these athletes that once dominated take a break. Well, it was a break, it was a retirement, but now we're in an era where they're coming out of this retirement, and we immediately, as fans who follow them along their career, their illustrious career, are now skeptical about the reasons they come back. Because it's always not 100% because it's for the love of the sport. It is, to your point, Wudi, it's like money. Or it's like, because social media has also changed the game. So it's more exposure and then more money for that exposure. And it's sad, man. It's sad to see that, because we all saw, and I mean, I don't want to dwell on this. We all saw the Tyson Paul fight. Like, it was just like, ooh, that was bad. That was bad for business. Not only was it bad for them, it was bad for the sport. It was just bad for the image. So if Pacquiao is coming back for those reasons in terms of money, we don't know. Again, we don't know the man. We don't know the real reasons behind it. I hope that, one, everybody's safe. I hope it's a good outing, and I hope he can just walk away from it with his head high, because this man has been in the Senate in the Philippines since 2019 or something. So, I mean, in 2016, it's like, listen, it's okay to just be into politics, bro. If that's your jam, just stay there, man. You've been running, the Philippines, and do the thing.
Yeah.
They got an election coming up May 12th, and he's running for president, I believe. So
worry about that.
Yeah.
For real. This is the illest distraction to a campaign I've ever seen.
Yeah.
If I'm his campaign manager, I'm sick.
Yeah. He ran for president. Now he's running for Senate. Whatever. Do the thing. Hey, but you know what? We did the thing. We are the Pop Off Podcast, and we did the thing, and we did it again for the first time. And man, it was so much fun. I want to thank everybody for being here, everybody for coming back and holding it down with us, because we really appreciate it. And for all those people that jumped into the chat, please do not only like, subscribe, and all those things, but come back next week. Once again, we're going to do it all over again, but now we'll have new topics, fresh takes, more hot takes. So we're going to make sure to do that. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything that we missed? Usually we do a little rehashing at the very end. Anything we missed, fellas?
I'll just do a quick shout out. UFC 315 is tomorrow night. 2 belts will be defended. Bilal Muhammad defends his belt against JDM Jack Della Maddalena. I personally hate Bilal Muhammad, so I'm going to root that he catches his L. Real quick, reason why I hate him, because I guess that's a strong statement to just throw out there and then walk away from. He literally he game plans to win by decision, which, as you already know, people we watch fighting, we watch for the crazy, finishes, knockout, choke, all the different things. He literally game plans to win by decision. So that is disgusting. It's embarrassing for the sport. The fact that he accidentally became champion disgusts me. So I hope JDM takes the belt off of him. And then the other belt that's being defended, Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet, one of the greatest of all time. She is the pound for pound best female fighter in the world today. As long as Amanda Nunes is retired, she will hold that crown. So I'm just expecting more work, more bulletry from the Bullet this Saturday. So I'll be looking forward to that.
Love it, Gene.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, I'm excited and just excited, I guess. But I'm so glad to hang out with my boys. We haven't got to do this for a couple months now. So excited to be back with you guys. New home, so we'll check out Pop Sports Network and also a ton of other cool shows. Mondays at noon, you have Rookies of the Year. I think 10 o'clock at noon is Prop Bets, and Wednesdays at 9:30 is Sports Rants with Abby and friends. Who a lot of people know who Abby is from her Jets rants. So here we get to see her rant about a lot of other things, not just the Jets now. So they had a great first show. So just also, support our friends on the other time slots,
Amazing. There it is right there. And like Gene said, don't forget to check us out at Pop Sports Network on the socials, especially on the IG. Go on to subscribe and tell your friends, let everybody know. Hey, man, last but not least, shout out to the Utah Mammoth. That is one thing that we missed. They have now officially got a name in the NHL. They have a fantastic logo. You know me and my logos, and I love theirs. There's a lot of things that encapsulate Utah, specifically going back into the Jurassic era where mammoths ran rampant in that. I don't know. I just made that.
And
up.
Mormons.
Yeah, and more.
They're still running rampant.
Mammoth Mormons ran rampant in the Utah state. Hey, you know what? On behalf of Gene, Wudi, me, Caleb, thank you. Love y'all. See you next week. This has been the Pop Off, and we out.
Deuce.